Hi, welcome back to Doomsday Queen, where in our previous videos we just went over how to store a large quantity of rice in Mylar, and now we're going to break down our quarts, our gallons, and our 2-quart size bags, and what's going to need oxygen absorbers and what will not need oxygen absorbers. If you want to have food on your shelf long term, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and comment down below if you've been Mylaring. But we're gonna kind of break it down. When I do a Mylar day, it is a day of Mylar because I preferably do not like to open up oxygen absorbers and then store them in a mason jar, use a vacuum seal to remove the air and then come back to them because I have a tendency to forget about my oxygen absorbers and then they'll go bad, or if the seal pops. So I like to do all my Mylar in one setting. So right now I'm using these really cool contraptions. I don't even know what they're called. I found them on Amazon. One of my friends who does a lot of freeze drying and Mylaring recommended them to me, and they are a lifesaver. They prop up your bag. They clip your bag inside of it and prop it open so that you don't make a mess. So right now we have two 2-quart bags propped up and we're going to start Mylaring those. So first thing we're going to use is I'm going to do pinto beans. I have a 2-pound bag, which is probably going to fill up one of these quart-size bags. I'm just going to pour that inside this bag. I'm going to just inspect it, make sure there's nothing really in it. None of the beans look bad. This one actually might fit a little bit more than I expected. Pinto beans, I'm gonna pour it in. So this is 3 pounds of beans in this one bag. But because I had opened all of my oxygen absorbers, I'm gonna try to go through this entire bag. So we're just gonna knock these out. So for a 1-quart bag, we're gonna use 300 cc's. I have my little handy dandy little cheat sheet here, but I am gonna drop it in this video. So make sure that you save, give a good thumbs up in here so that you guys know how much you're going to need. So I got one 300 oxygen absorber. It's gonna go inside this bag. I'm going to remove that down. My trick, once again, if you haven't watched that previous video on the rice, you're definitely gonna wanna go back. I Ziploc 3/4 of the way, and then I'm going to press out all the air, and then I'm gonna go all the way across. Next, I'm gonna do a heat seal, but right now I'm actually gonna mark the bag and we'll do all the heat seals at the exact same time. So these are pinto, and they were Mylared up 325, and there's about 3 pounds in there. That's my preference. I like to label how much I'm putting in so I have a relatively good idea of how much I am storing up. So this bag is finished and we're gonna move on to our next bag. So right now I have a 2-quart. I don't think I have enough. We'll be okay, we'll be fine. So I'm gonna pour in this 1-pound bag. Guess where I got some of these? The Dollar Tree. You can prep on a budget at the Dollar Tree. Don't let anybody discourage you. Make sure you buy good Mylar. Prep on a budget. You can make it work. If I can make it work, you can make it work. All right, so I got 2 pounds of beans in there. I'm gonna toss in my 300 cc oxygen absorber. I'm going to take it out of its little clamps, Ziploc it 3/4 of the way, squeeze out the rest of the air. And once again, mark it pinto beans. We'll do all the heat seals at the very, very end. Pinto beans. And if you ever feel like you're not putting enough oxygen absorbers in, you can add extra. It doesn't hurt to add extra oxygen absorbers. So this bag isn't as full as that bag, so why not? Maybe I'll throw an extra one in. Do I need it? No. 300 cc's to 1 quart and to 2-quart bags is totally fine. But I'm still gonna do it just because there is that gap and it's not a full 3-pound bag like that one. And then I'm just gonna mark this one as 2 pounds, and that I packaged it up in March of 2025. This also is gonna give it a 25-year shelf life. It can last much longer, but if you don't wanna go past 25 years, now you have beans. So the next one, I'm gonna just take my little guys here. Let's get some of this trash out of the way. Put this one in underneath the clamps. And then you can actually bring these little clamps down. So like that bag is a little bit shorter, so I can just bring the clamps down. So then it sits down nice. I'm gonna open up my red kidney beans, pour those in. Now I don't need to look at my cheat sheet, but I'm gonna look at it anyways. Every single one of you guys should have a cheat sheet. 1 quart, 300 cc's, 2 quarts, 300 cc's, 1 gallon, 300 cc's. I prefer 700 cc's, to be very honest with you. 700 cc's, I have never had a problem. I would not do the 300 cc's on that. And then for the 2.5 gallons, it recommends 1,000 cc's. I did 1,200 in the 2.5. It's just my preference. You can have your own preference. Just make sure you don't go below the minimum. So, little trick I'm gonna teach you guys about oxygen absorbers is you have your oxygen absorbers. Do you know how to tell if they're bad? Leave it in the comment if you know how to tell if they're bad. So, if they're hard, they're bad. If they are moving around, you're good. They'll warm up. You'll feel them get warm in your hands. So I'm gonna just throw 1 300 in that one, and I'm gonna throw 1 in this one. I have not poured my beans in there. I'm gonna do black beans in this bin, in this Mylar, and I have red kidney beans in that one. Like I said, I like to stock up all the food that I can, and then Mylar it all in one go. So I still have a half a bag of oxygen absorbers to go through. If I want to just be a little extra cautious, you can throw extras in. You don't have to. I know I have an oxygen absorber in there, but I am going to try to go through all of these, so I'll chuck some extras in there, but they don't need it. They do not need it. You only need 300 cc's for it. Squeeze out all the air. Oops, I got a bean stuck in the Ziploc. It's a bean. All right, so I'm just gonna lay that one flat. I know it's black beans, but I gotta look for my marker because I will forget here in a minute. So we got black beans, 1 pound, and this was packaged $3.25. And that's gonna go into my stack. This is red kidney beans. Finish the zip, kidney beans. This is 1 pound, and this is packaged $3.25. And I'm going to place that right over there. We wanna keep our area a little bit clean. I'm feeling a little claustrophobic here. All right, okay. We've got these 3. I got a little bit of sugar left. So I think I'm gonna do a 2 quart bag for the sugar because I'm not sure how much sugar is left in this 20-pound bag or 25-pound bag, is it? Now here is the quiz, and I want you guys to answer down in the comments. Do you need oxygen absorbers for sugar? Do, 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 do. No. No, you don't. No, you don't. Sugar does not need oxygen absorbers. Can you put them in there? Yeah. Will it make it clumpy probably over the next 20 years? Yeah, possibility. But is it gonna ruin your sugar? No. It is not gonna ruin your sugar, despite what people say on the internet. The worst it will be is a little bit clumpy, and you can just beat it up and you can use it. So don't get too intimidated by the idea of oxygen absorbers in sugar. I do not use them whatsoever. You do not need them, but just so that you know. All right, back to sugar. Do you need oxygen absorbers? No, no, you do not need oxygen absorbers. So I'm gonna set these over to the side. So I'm gonna just take my scoop. I'm gonna just scoop the sugar and pour it into here. You can use a funnel, like a canning funnel. It works great. But we know the ADHD is ADHDing right now, so we're just going with it. Do I need oxygen absorbers? No. No, you don't. Okay. So all I'm gonna do is unhook it, and we're gonna Ziploc it. Remember, 3/4 of the way. Squeeze out the air. I guess essentially you wouldn't have to squeeze out the air on here because it really doesn't matter on the oxygen. It's just my preference. So I'm just gonna put sugar. Sugar lasts forever. This is gonna be good for a really long time. So that sugar is done. Now remember, the worst that can happen is your sugar gets a little clumpy. Bang it on the counter, bang it with a hammer, it's gonna be fine. Do you know what else doesn't need an oxygen absorber in it when you are Mylaring? Salt. Salt does not need an oxygen absorber along with sugar. So I'm gonna just put sugar, 325, set it over to the side. All it needs to be is heat Ziploc. Next we're gonna be doing is flour. Flour. Does flour need oxygen absorbers? Yes, yes it does. I know this seems a little redundant, but a lot of people do not understand the difference between what material can go in Mylar. So I would like to ask the questions and then say them again. So if I ask you the question, you're like, oh my gosh, she keeps asking me this question. It's just to get you to be able to recite it in your head and know, okay, I have sugar, I want to Mylar that up. I do not need oxygen absorbers. I have kidney beans, I want to Mylar that up. I need oxygen absorbers. I have flour, I need oxygen absorbers. I have rice, I need oxygen absorbers. We talked about in the last video about people safeguarding their resources. Food is a huge resource. It is a huge resource. Many people get intimidated by Mylaring. It is not that complicated. I don't want you guys to hold back on your ability to prep because Mylar freaks you out. So once again, when I ask those questions, I'm just trying to get you guys to understand so that you know that you can Mylar. They'll last for years and years down the line. I have a 1 gallon size bag. She doesn't fit very well in this, but we're gonna make it work while we can. Flour is the bane of my existence. Actually, I'm gonna take it out. It is the bane of my existence. If you ever notice downstairs when I film my prepper's pantry and there's like this white residue on my canning lids, it's because I was Mylaring flour. It gets in the air and it goes everywhere. So you want to try to be a little cautious. You can use a funnel. I'm just going to scoop this in. You definitely don't want to be wearing black when you're Mylaring, but it's not scary. It's not intimidating. I like to leave about an inch gap from the top. Okay, so once again, I'm gonna do about halfway, squeeze air, and we're gonna add oxygen absorbers into this. So 1 gallon bag, I believe it's about 1,000 cc's. I do about 700 to 1,000. This chart recommends 300. I do not think that that is enough. Stay above 700. So I'm just gonna throw in 3 of these guys. That equals 900 cc's. So 1 300, 2, 3, because there is a little bit of gap now. We'll throw in 4. We will make it work. Once again, you don't have too many oxygen absorbers, but you can have too little. I might be over paranoid, but that's just the way I like to do it. So this is all-purpose flour. So I'm gonna label it all-purpose. Flour 325. And I'm gonna set this one to the side. Now, how many more oxygen absorbers do I have? I have quite a bit, you guys. They are very warm, they're very active right now. We might need to speed this process up. Now that you've doused yourself in flour, one of the reasons you'd wanna have flour on hand is, for instance, I have chickens, I can use flour, I can make noodles. You can use flour for baking goods, if you cook a lot, anything like that, you can pull from your reserves. Your preps, your food storage is your self-insurance plan. So making sure that you have set enough aside for you and your family, it's really effortless. All right, 1, 2, and oops, we almost lost one. We're gonna throw that one in. I don't like to waste oxygen absorbers. Okay. That got a little aggressive there. All right, so now I'm just gonna squeeze out the air, Ziploc it across, and we're gonna label that. I like to kind of pat mine flat because these ones are gonna go into a tote. Some of them are gonna go into buckets. It just depends on what your preference is. But this one is all-purpose flour. Always label. Now that I have flour all over my face, we got more to do. I have been so excited. I've been waiting for Mylar to come in because I ran out, and I buy in bulk when I buy it. I think each one of these packages of Mylar that I picked up is 50 bags each, and then extra oxygen absorbers. I don't know. Anybody else get excited for Mylar? Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just the weird one. But Mylaring is super easy. It's not rocket science. We could make it rocket science. We could start it off. As you pour your flour into your bag. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, I'm covered in flour. All right, so this gallon-sized bag, I'm already nervous. Just kidding. All right, Ziploc halfway. We're gonna squeeze. I'm gonna add my oxygen absorbers. Like I said, I'd rather go over than under. I recommend 700 and above. I'm adding 1200 cc's into a 1 gallon bag. It's not gonna hurt anything. If anything, it's gonna make it last longer. The only one that I think it hurts is when you go over 300 cc's for a quart bag when you're doing noodles or your 2-quart bags. I feel like those do get brittle years down the line, but the rest, it's fine. You'd rather go over than under. We're building a wall of Mylar. Build that wall, I guess. At least it's a pretty wall. And my kitchen is destroyed. Flour is the messiest. I say hold off on flour till last. It might save your brain cells of what you have to clean up in your house. I don't know why every time I look at this bag, I look at it as I squeeze it. It's because I get like complacent. I get complacent and I forget that it's flour and it's gonna go in your face. So I'm completely covered in flour. All right. Hopefully in 25 years I can read my own handwriting because I write half in cursive and half in print. All right, there is not much left in this bag. I think we're gonna have to go down to a quart size, maybe. We might have to go down smaller. We'll probably go into a smaller quart size bag for this one. So I'm just gonna set this one up. Yeah, I made a good choice there. Waste not, want not with our resources. You're making a mess. And if you start yelling at yourself mid-Mylaring, you know you're doing it right, okay? All right, okay. That one's in. Once again, quart size only needs 1, 300 cc's. All right. We're almost done. Well, your girl got overly excited and thought she was done Mylaring. Till I remember I'm prepping every day. So we got another 25-pound bag of flour. This is bread flour. And we got to Mylar that one up. So we have not only done all of this, like this is just bags and bags, sugar bags, rice bags, flour bags. Now we're going to our unbleached bread flour. So we got to Mylar that up. So thank goodness I got all the gallon bags. We got some work to do, my friends. So let's try to do this as fast as we can. Why am I struggling to open a paper bag? I don't know, okay? All right, we got our bread flour. We're gonna open our bags, open our Mylar, and we're gonna get to it. So when I go out prepping at the grocery stores, I am constantly, I'll buy stuff in bulk that I'm gonna need to Mylar, and I'll kind of gain a pile, like my own little I need to Mylar stockpile, and then I wait for one day to put it all together. I find it's easy. It only takes a couple of hours. This one can have a little bit more. There's so much flour everywhere. All right. 1, 2, and 3. That's 900. Don't face it towards your face. I don't like to overfill my Mylar. Some people do, and that's totally fine. That's up to your preference. I think it makes a lot more of a mess. Where did the pen go? Where did the pen go? We found the pen. All right, this is bread flour. This is what I use with my sourdough, and I'm gonna throw that. All right, so today we not only Mylared a 20-pound bag of rice, now we're gonna do 25 pounds of bread flour. We did about 10 pounds left of that flour, some beans, some black beans, kidney beans, sugar, pinto beans. I mean, I feel like we've had a very productive day. If you've enjoyed watching me Mylar my heart out, please leave a comment down below. Give this video a thumbs up. Mylar is super easy once you get used to doing it. I'm gonna sneeze. Oh no. It's the flour. Once you get used to Mylaring flour, you'll start to feel more confident in your long-term food storage. You can store them in the 5-gallon buckets like you saw in the previous video, or you can store them in totes. I like to fill up totes and buckets. Either one works really well for me. My oxygen absorbers. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have just the right amount of oxygen absorbers for this. All right, bread flour, 325, and it's unbleached. I really enjoy labeling my bags. Now what happens when, say we have a pandemic 2.0, right? And everything is sold out. You have flour, you have all this food that's on your shelves. It's for long-term food storage that you can pull from anytime you want. This is your self-insurance plan. Having your own self-insurance plan is excellent for you because whether you have a job loss, there's a natural disaster, anything like that, you can go and pull from your own self-insurance plan. And it doesn't cost an arm and a leg to prep. If you are Mylaring it yourself, you can do it. I prefer to buy in bulk so I'm not wasting oxygen absorbers. I have enough oxygen absorbers for 2 more gallon-sized bags, which I think is gonna be the right amount for this. All right, we got unbleached flour. All right. I am building a Mylar wall. A Mylar wall. And the only thing we have left to do is heat seal all of these bags and then to place them in their correct totes. I like to organize mine by what's in there. So most of my long-term food storage, there'll be a tote just for flour, a tote or a bucket just for flour, a bucket just for sugar, beans, rice. I really like to stay organized, so in a time of emergency, I can look at my food pantry and I know exactly what I'm going to be pulling from. Oh God, no. Your girl has messed up so many times. It's fine. I'm okay, you're okay, we're all okay. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I'll have 1 more extra. So I'm throwing 4 in there because I have 4 more, which is perfect for how much is left in this bag. Squeezing the air out. Labeling. We are building that Mylar. She almost done. All right, we got our 1 last gallon size, and I am now officially just covered in flour. Can we get a round of applause for the overly floured outfit? I'm gonna leave a little bit of flour in this bag because I'm gonna use it for my sourdough. We did it, guys, we did it. We had all of our oxygen absorbers. We were able to go through all of them in one sitting so we don't have to come back and do it again. What a perfect night. All right, we're down to our final and last step. We have our straightener. So what you're gonna do, I take my straightener, I keep it about 350 degrees to 280, right in there, it's perfect. And I'm just gonna run it over the top right above the Ziploc line. If you want to see a good close-up on it, watch my previous video of Mylaring rice. But I'm going to go through and I'm going to do each and every single one of these. I'm going to give it a nice heat seal, just gliding it back and forth till I get a perfect seal. This allows, so if the Ziploc pops open, that your food isn't exposed to air. So it's creating essentially a double locking system for your long-term food storage, which you want because we always prep. We have a contingency for our contingencies. I've only zipped up, heat sealed 5 bags. I'm not even sure how many bags we got through tonight, 5. I got a lot more heat sealing to do on this video, so make sure you give a like and a thumbs up and subscribe and comment down below if you've ever done Mylaring or if you're just starting your Mylar and long-term food storage journey. Stay aware, stay prepared, and always have your head on a swivel. I'll catch you guys on the next video.